Hey, how you guys doing? Hope you had a good day in the markets today. I just want to quickly go over two of my good trades from earlier today. Before then, again, as always, if you guys like the content, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave me some feedback, show me some love. So let's just jump into it. The first and the big winning trade was on TWOU. This was a gap down stock on earnings. You can see right here on the daily. And so obviously looking to take it short. Again, trying to stick to my rules and waiting for the first 3-4 minutes for a stock to kind of move about. But it did what you kind of typically see on these gap down stocks, which is, it fluctuates a little bit, but then it did a push up of, buy the dippers or people just shorts covering their positions. So after it did that, it started, topping out here with these topping wicks. And I waited for it to kind of consolidate below VWAP or break VWAP, and then I took it short. And it pretty much just worked out beautifully. There's not really a whole lot to explain about this trade. You can see here on the 1 minute chart. Let me zoom out. You see here on the 1 minute chart, it just worked out beautifully. I had these nice levels drawn out, but I took my covers at some other points, like in between those levels, half numbers, whole numbers, prior support resistance areas. But like I try to scale out because I've just tempted fate too many times and had things go back against me, leaving money on the table. So I try to scale out little by little, and I got some really good covers. I mean, I entered here at like 46.8. Lowest cover was at 43.9. So I almost got like 3 points on this move. So that was great. So the covers were pretty straightforward there towards the bottom. Here, towards the end, I tried to take it short again. I thought for a second here it might be consolidating. This was like some tight consolidation ranges. So I was reading the tape and it felt like it might kind of take another leg lower to some of these other support levels I had drawn out in the daily, but it wasn't meant to be. So I gave a little bit back on this stop out, but yeah, TWOU, it was a beautiful trade. You can only wish that they would all be like this one. So the next trade I want to go over is EA. EA was a little bit less kind to me. I'll show you how right now. So EA was a gap up stock on earnings, on news. Let me go ahead and focus this up really quick on the 1 minute. So gap up stock, and if you guys remember from my previous videos, I always say stocks that are gapping up, you can look to take them short just as often as you can look to take them long. So that's what I did here. I was just kind of just watching it. Going into the open, like in pre-market, it started to roll over and sell off. So that kind of gives you an indication what was going to happen at the open. So at the open, it dropped a little bit and then consolidated. This was in my first 3-4 minute window where I tried not to trade. So I wasn't too keen on taking this quite yet. So I missed this initial flush down, but I wasn't too phased by that. Because oftentimes, not saying I knew it was going to happen, but oftentimes these things will have a bounce back to VWAP to test. And that's the real opportunity to get short, because it's giving you a confirmation of a direction. And then the VWAP test is an opportunity to get back in. So my problem here though is that I got in too early. There's two problems with this. Let me just zoom in here on the 1 minute so you can see exactly what I saw. So there's two problems I had with this. I got in before the VWAP, like before it really had a chance to tap the VWAP and reject off of VWAP. I was anticipating too much, right? So my anticipation being too much, I got in too early here on these orders. But also the other thing being that I sized inappropriate for my risk level, because as you can see here, EA was moving 50 cents, $1 at a time. These 1 minute candles are like a dollar wide, $1 tall. And so that kind of movement is huge for my risk tolerance personally. So I took my normal share size in the situation where I probably should have taken half share size because of how much the stock was moving around. So this is where, your risk reward has to be like pre-thought out and ingrained in you. So that's an instinct. I wasn't thinking proactively here, I guess I could say. I didn't plan out perfectly in my head before I entered the trade. I was just clicking buttons, right? So my share size, I should have taken half size here because these candles are too big. 50 cents, $1 candles, and it's moving quick, right? So these stop outs were particularly bad. Because visually, just without looking at the numbers on the side here of the chart, just pretend these numbers don't exist here. This is a kind of trade and pattern I would just normally get into, and these stops would be no big deal. But you have to pay attention, right? You have to pay attention to the specifics, and you have to look at the range, right? And the range on this thing was huge, right? So these stop outs were a little painful for me and my risk tolerance size. So again, got in too early, got stopped out as I kept pushing. It looked like it was going to fail here. You see this bottom candle wick, so I got in again short. and it was playing games with me, and it went up and stopped me out again. So I'm a little pissed off here, a little frustrated, but I'm sticking with it. I'm sticking with my thesis about this trade. So after I put in this top wick here above the 20 EMA moving average, it started to come back down. I was like, this has to be it. I got in short here and I put my stop up here, and I was like, if this stops me out, I'm just going to be done. I'm going to call it quits on this trade. Thankfully, it worked out this time and it started to trickle down. And so let me go ahead and just zoom out and you'll see here. So I was able to earn back not all, but some of the money on EA. Because I wasn't able to earn it all back because after these two full-size position stop outs, I went half size on this order because I was just pissed off and I just wasn't feeling it. And I had a high stop up here. So I went half size, right? So I got back most of the loss, but not all of it. So half size, and again, because it was such a big mover, I was just covering into the half and whole numbers, right? So at 96.50, 96 level, it took two covers down here, 95. This thing moving like 50 cents, $1 at a time. So these covers are like $1 wide. So I'm getting some big covers here. And then as it got down towards the bottom here, I took my final cover as it went back up and looked like the trade might be over. And then let me see what I did here. What did I do? I'm not sure what this sell is. Oh, I think I tried to go short because it looked like it was going to roll over again. I just took a quick cover down here, but then also I went long and because I was hoping for like a pop back up to VWAP, but it didn't. It just stalled out pretty quickly. So that was just minor winners right there. But yeah, so EA, it kind of screwed me. I screwed myself on these earlier trades right here. So this trade pretty much turned out to be a wash. But again, this is a pattern I love. But I was just a little lesson for you guys. You gotta pay attention to the specifics, man. You got to keep your risk reward and risk tolerance in mind at all times. You have to literally in your head talk out what the trade is going to be exactly. I'm entering here at this price with this share size, risking this dollar amount, right? And so I didn't do that. I was acting more on on reflexes here rather than pre-thought out game planning. So I had some decent sized stop outs here that kind of screwed me on this trade overall. But in the end, I did catch a good meat of the move on the way down and was able to recoup the losses. So those were the two big trades I had today. Hopefully you guys had some lessons in there you can learn from. Again, if you like the content, please leave me a like, a comment, say hi. And that's it. Hope you guys had a good day, and I'll see you in the markets tomorrow.